yet another day to talk the Niger Delta region. The name is Xavier Robert. Well, the federal government is pushing ahead with a number of major infrastructure projects across the country, from new superhighways to coastal connectivity projects, with billions of naira committed to roads expected to improve transportation, trade, and economic activity. But as these projects spread across different parts of the country, an old question is once again being asked in the Niger Delta: how much of the nation's infrastructure agenda is reaching the region that has for decades remained central to Nigeria's economic survival? Today on Niger Delta Today, we examine the projects, the politics, and the wider question of fairness in federal infrastructure development. Myself and Jennifer Ekpeyon. Jennifer, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
I don't know why I get giggling when it gets to calling your surname, but it's fine.
Well, we're still okay. Even if you say pious, it still goes well. Whatever the case is, it's an interesting day.
And it's a terrific Tuesday. Even though we're starting on a sad note.
Yeah,
even though we're starting on a sad note.
A very sad thing indeed. And for the people of Uyo, something really sad took place yesterday, and we gathered reports that a fire outbreak in the early hours of Monday at Nabo Street off Ikpa Road opposite Atiampa Street in Afaoko, Uyo left one person dead. Another injured, 3 rooms reportedly destroyed. The incident, which occurred about 4 a.m., was brought under control after the intervention of the Akwa State Fire Service. Well, but even as the details of the tragedy emerged, several accounts of what happened have begun circulating, including claims about the identity of the deceased and the events leading up to the fire. At this stage, however, many of those details remain unverified, and it is important that speculation does not become the story before the authorities establish the fact. So rather than rely on accounts circulating on social media or second-hand information, we have invited the fire service to help us understand what happened, the response to the emergency and extent of the damage, and the wider fire safety questions raised by incidents of this nature. And so we speak with the Public Relations Officer of the Akwa State Fire Service, Mr. Manuel Duffer, but that will be right after this break. Stay with us.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. The headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. ADBN, a part of you.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on ADBN TV for business information, latest happening business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil and commodity trading, financial upstick and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on ADBN TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report bringing you up to speed in the business world.
Every day, decisions are made, policies are announced, challenges emerge, and lives are changed. But beyond the headlines, beyond the politics, beyond the noise, are the conversations that matter. On Softline, Nigeria's leading voices unpack the issues shaping future, from governance to business, education, healthcare, technology, security, and the economy. Real conversations, expert insights, solutions that move the nation forward. Because understanding today's decisions shapes tomorrow's opportunities. Now airing 4 p.m. every weekday and Saturdays. Softline, where informed decisions begin.
Thanks for staying tuned. We have joining us on the program this afternoon Mr. Emmanuel Dofia. He's the Public Relations Officer of the Akwa State Fire Service to discuss extensively this issue, a sad incident really in Nikpa Road, Uyo, which led to the reported death of one person, while another person sustained extensive burns. You're welcome on the program. Thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you so much. It's good to be here. Thank you. Thank you.
We've had so many different versions of this story, what really transpired or what didn't, and let's hear it from you, what really transpired there.
Okay, yeah. From what you know, there was fire outbreak, and there's a loss of life, and then one of the victims at the hospital receiving treatment, as you all know as well. Now, it was kind of an electrical fire incident that happened. And this, from the report I received from my main, and from also the report we received firsthand from the neighbors, this fire started at about 4 a.m. Yesterday, 4 a.m., as early as 4 a.m. And those folks those within the neighborhood, try within their ability, their power to contend with the fire. Not until 5:25 a.m. a call was put across the fire service. So you can count. That's more than an hour. And you know, fire, there's this deception most people have. Oh, that when it's rainy season, fire does not burn at extensive rates. No, that's erroneous. In as much as there's fuel, heat, and oxygen, whether rainy season, whether harmattan, and even whether dry season, as it were, fire burns at the same rates. So these three elements were there. So when now fire service reported at the incident, you know, a call came across at about 5:25 a.m. and at 5:28, 3-minute interval, fire service were at the scene. And at the time they had gone there, the damage had already been done. So the best they could do is to make sure that they got down the environment so that this fire does not spread to the other neighbor, you know.
They didn't have the potential of spread at the time your personnel arrived.
There was such. So they have to make sure that they do the best they can contain with the ones that had already happened, and also make sure that it does not extend to virgin area.
All right, but the accounts we're having on social media, especially the remote causes that led to, you know, the incident, actually, that led to the outbreak, the fire. I'm wondering, does the fire service have that information? What could have gone wrong that led to the fire starting in the first place?
Okay, yeah, the report I have from my men is that they discovered that this is a power bike. You know, like, I don't know how they call it. It's the one that looks like a sketch kind of, you know, the one, you know.
It's a scooter?
It's a scooter, yeah. That's the kind I'm talking about. So they discovered that, you know, it's rechargeable. You can charge the battery. And the battery is highly explosive. It's highly explosive. It's the same message we've been given over time to people who have the solar panel in their home. Whatever you can do to have rack outside that you store your battery, please do. We don't advise people to have any explosive substance charged within their home. Don't do it, because, you know, if there is tendency for explosion, life will not be spared. Lives won't be spared. So this young man, from the observation they made, he charged this in the home, and the battery was overheated. Now, one of the mistakes too we do, even in the phones we use, you know, to make calls daily, you charge your phone, and then maybe you've slept off. It's already 100%. Overcharging it, if it's a faulty battery, you can develop, some persons, you come and see your phone, the battery swell. That's a potential fire explosion that it did not explode, but it swelled. Means maybe by just an intervention of God. So these things happen. We played down on some of these little things. So that was just the major essence. The battery was overcharged. And now, the picture my men have shown to me, right, and those who were at the scene, The bullets from the battery, right? Some of those extracts from the battery, they're like gun bullets. Meaning, it from here to the next, if it shift from this location to the next neighbor, and then it meets an explosive substance there too, or naked flame, that's another potential fire. So that was majorly the cause. So two things they saw. They saw that stroller, and then they also saw a tabletop this in a freezer in the home. So the major cause was that stroller.
Well, there's also been from the lady that had died. Has there been any form of identification from the deceased, or still working on that?
Yeah, picture. What we do, there's always a post-event. We always do investigation. As it happens, even this morning, to the teams were also there. So when it happened there yesterday, and the picture is circulating everywhere about the poor girl, rest her soul. We, in as much as we are meant to save lives and property, see, the truth is, no matter how much we would pray, we are religious people. We pray over everything, right? Now, no matter how much we pray, things will always happen. But we would never want any life to get lost. We will never. So we do everything possible within ability, like the poor girl. So the only information we had was that, or maybe she went to visit a boyfriend, and then suddenly the incident happened. And it's a sad scenario, right? So I'm sure those who ever, perhaps the parents, must have been able to identify her. And from what I learned, she was taken to the morgue yesterday. And then the other victim was able to survive. That's her friend. Is presently now receiving treatment at the hospital. And
at what state is he currently? How critical is the situation? Has the fire service been able to establish?
Yes, as of yesterday, I think what one of my personnel said that he was responding to treatments as of yesterday. So, though I've not had the verified information about today, what's happening, but I'm sure he should be in a good state of mind.
Well, people often assume that victims of fires die from flames themselves, and in reality, smoke inhalation and toxic gases could play a huge role. But then, what baffles a lot of people is, when this fire started, how is it that the occupants of the premises, the rooms where the fire actually started, were unable to, actually get out of the fire before it got to that stage? And then also looking, could it be that there were other issues perhaps that prevented them from being conscious enough to what was happening at the time? Allegations are that they actually came in from the club. Is that verified? Is that correct?
The same way you, as a journalist, you're trying to gather the information to know what's the major cause or the incidences surrounding the whole happenings. That's almost the same phase we find ourselves into. But from also investigations and the information on the social media platforms, we've got to know that either they went for an outing, club as it were, and possibility would be that maybe they had drank and got tipsy. Now, yeah, from what I learned from the landlady, I'm told that they have a dog, that this dog was barking since at so many past 4 a.m. Bagging, and then the dog was actually caged. But how did this dog manage to get out? And then the owners were,
were unable to.
Perhaps either they had taken some high substance, got ratased, slept over.
So it's actually possible to sleep that deep when
possible.
You are under the influence.
No, that's possible.
And you don't hear whatever is happening.
No, that's possible. Just imagine someone now, you take a certain tap to recover yourself, and then suddenly that tap seems to overwhelm your entire body. You're weak. And then something happens. Even if you hear a roach in your home, you're feeling that you're hearing some strange sound. But to stand, the spirit is willing, but the body says, I can't. So if it happens with just the medication, regardless of someone taking, maybe alcoholic, substance that contains alcohol, so to speak. So imagine. So it's a sad scenario.
There was also something we had noticed from one of the clips while they were trying to contain the fire. They kept asking. Nobody has the fire service number, no number. So we'd like to understand, is there a number people can reach out to in incidents of this nature? Maybe a closer office to areas of a road or some other areas in Uyo? Are there different numbers, or there's one emergency number to call?
Okay, thank you. You know, fire service has locations in almost all the stations in almost all the local government, though not all of them are functional, right? But we have a central number that if you reach out to that number can link you to other places. Assuming there's fire outbreak at Ikodigbene, and then we have a functional fire station and fire trucks at Ikodigbene. So if you call Uyo, for instance, you can link you to Ikodigbene station. So we have an emergency number, which I'm sure maybe at the course of the program it will be read out. Now, another problem most people have is this: as we are having this program now on air, the question will be how many people are opportune to watch. Now you give an emergency number now. And then the number may be second by opportune those, or those who are able to watch the program, right? So I would advise people, if you have fire service emergency number, like any other security outfit, please do well to disseminate, give it out to your neighbors. Circulate it, give it out to people, because you may not know whom that little act of kindness of yours would do and how far it would go. Okay, so they do not have fire service. That's the truth. Imagine fire happening at 4 a.m. The fire service got to know. And I'm told that the person that finally called fire service, Google, went online to check. And I was able to die. You know, we are not spirit. I said this over time. Just imagine now, fire happens somewhere, and then people will try to cope the situation. And it's expanding. Remember I said 3 things. As far as heat, fuel, and oxygen are available, fire will keep burning. It will not wait for you. So assuming fire happens somewhere at about 3 a.m., okay, just imagine this time we're in the studio, and then we'll get to receive the call at 2 a.m. That's more than 1 hour, right? Getting to 2 hours. Now, reaching to the scene, the mindset people will have would be, oh, you people are coming now, meaning you've had the information before now. So why did you come late? That's why sometimes people mop at us, thinking that we have received the information earlier and we didn't come. You've heard on one of those videos circulated everywhere, call fire, call fire. From that video, at the point they said call fire service, that was not fire at incipient stage, at the beginning stage. It was already a full-grown fire, meaning that it was almost going out of hand.
And there was very little or nothing the
we couldn't do
at arrival.
No, we couldn't do. We can only come to, you know, either ameliorate already what had happened, and also make sure we guard it from extending to major areas. Okay, so there's fire service emergency number. When you die, that will give both state and federal, because we collaborate, work together.
Okay.
Right. So I'll give both state and federal fire service, so that, please, friend, watching this morning or this afternoon, you can circulate this number to your neighbors, your friends, so that if an emergency happens at any point in time, especially we attend.
We'd like to have you get those numbers. Possibly we'll put it on the screen to also get viewers to have access to them and be able to reach out to you whenever the need arises.
That's okay. So can I have the number now? Okay, so now this is Uyo Fire Station. So calling this number, they will link to any other local government within Akwa Ibom State. So that is 0813 356 4978. I will tell that again. 0813 356 4978. So that is Uyo command number. So would you mind I give Feeder Fire Service?
Yeah, no
okay, so now Feeder Fire Service. So this is 0809 044 0552. I'll tell that again. 080 9044 0552. So that's Feeder Fire Service emergency number.
Yes, I'm sure we'll be having that up on the screen any moment from now for viewers to copy who couldn't get it when you were reading. But then let's look at the lesson that this presents before every viewer currently. Looking at this situation, it is something that could have been avoided, either from the persons directly involved and also from persons around, if they had the information they needed to have about how to reach the fire service as soon as possible. So what are those lessons that this particular sad incident presents before us at this time? And what are the responsibilities that every viewer should take up currently in ensuring that this is prevented from reoccurring?
Okay, I will come into perspective. First, I will come on the perspective as a mentor, right? As a motivator, right? Before I get to the angle of a professional, right? Now, as a mentor, I would want to advise both the young and the old that whatever you do, do within your means. Now, if I should take any food, I'm using food for example now, I don't need to eat such that it becomes a problem to me, right? Even if to drink, maybe water or anything I choose to drink, just let it be within the ability such that if anything happens, I can still be very conscious, right? So let anything you do be moderate, within the ability that you can still be conscious of yourself should anything happen. Then two, as a professional, I've said it and I'll keep saying it over time that safety is everyone's responsibility. It's not just about fire service alone, right? Don't store an explosive substance in your home. And also keep an eye on anything you have that you know could cause a problem, especially that is electrically related. Like we say, turn off your electrical appliances when you leave your home. How many people would do that? Someone will say, oh, I don't want to do this, so my food in the freezer could. Nobody knows how NEPA will bring the light. It could come sporadically. They give and take, and then if the cables used in connection isn't good, it begins to wear off. And that's a potential fire outbreak. So we all have a role to play. You play your role by making sure that you are also making this work easy for us. Fire service personnel are human beings. Some of them are fathers, some are mothers, fiancé, grandmothers, grandfathers, you know. So they're also human beings. Imagine something happening, you're running away from a building that's been attacked with fire, and there's someone is going in, inhaling the toxic gas. Like two of my personnel have complained this morning. So PRO, since morning, I am spitting out dark substance. So the question would be, even the person who is going through this, what is there any medical package for him as a personnel? So imagine the propensity of damage some of these folks also go through, those who are trying to save lives. So you also make work easy for us by playing your role as a citizen of a DSN and the nation at large, by observing some do's and the don'ts. When you do this, I'm sure every one of us will be at peace.
Well, as investigations continue and relevant authorities get to work to establish the full facts of what happened, what should the public do when unverified information, surround developments of this nature? We've seen different narratives, people bringing up all manner of accounts as to what really happened. And as the Nigerian factor would have it, some are already making very insensitive jokes around it. But how should the populace be responding when we talk about verifying information?
We live in a very fast age, faster than ever we would have thought of. So if anything happens, people will have different meanings to it. Some will just want to create reels to make money out of it, right? So I would say this, that if anything happens, do not just give in totally to what you see on the public space or social media space, except you're able to have first-hand information. And then secondly, I don't think there's need to make jokes out of someone's plight. You don't need to, because it will look like you're being so insensitive, right? So don't depend totally on social media. Yeah. So if anything happens, you also need to verify to know whether what you're seeing on the social media platform is truth or not. So by that, you live a very sane life in the society. Yeah.
Would really want to keep a close relationship with the fire service. You to know what further revelations would come out of this particular incident as investigations continue,
okay.
I believe.
Sure.
Thank
sure.
you very much,
Thank you.
Public Relations Officer of the Kwara State Fire Service, Mr. Emmanuel Dofia.
Thank you.
Appreciate your time and
Thank you.
coming.
Thank you for having me.
Thank you so much for coming.
So we'll take a breather. Bring your Niger Delta updates next. Stay.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. ADBN. A part of you.
First, the Niger Delta update. Edo State has recorded a major milestone in public service as Governor Mondo Pablo swore in the state's first visually impaired permanent secretary, alongside 19 other permanent secretaries, new commissioners, and members of the Governing Council of the Edo State College of Health Sciences and Technology. The appointments, described as merit-driven and inclusive, are expected to strengthen governance, expand equal opportunities, and reinforce public confidence in the state civil service. ATVN's correspondent Favors Azua.
Inclusion and merit have remained central to conversations on public service reform in Edo State. Those ideals have now taken practical shape as Governor Mondo Pablo made history by appointing and swearing in the state's first visually impaired permanent secretary, Melody Omosa, alongside 19 others who emerged successful from the rigorous selection process involving about 250 candidates. The governor said the appointments reflected competence, transparency, and excellence, while reaffirming his administration's commitment to inclusive governance.
Today is a special day for those people that reach their height in civil service. About 250 were called for these exams without interference. I met with 25, but 20 of them made it. I want to congratulate you. And by the time I was looking at my phone at about 3 a.m., I saw head of service sending me a message congratulating me. And at the same time congratulating Edo people.
The ceremony also featured the swearing-in of 2 commissioners, including Martin Oli, the first non-indigene to serve in Governor Pablo's cabinet. Speaking on behalf of the newly sworn-in permanent secretaries, Melody Omosa described the appointment as both a personal milestone and a call to greater service, pledging that the appointees would work diligently to advance the policies and development agenda of the Pablo administration.
Your Excellency, on behalf of the permanent secretaries which you have just inaugurated, we want to express our profound appreciation for finding us worthy. It is one thing for us to have excelled at the exam we wrote, and it's another thing for your Excellency to approve our appointment owing to due process.
Beyond appointments, the ceremony underscored Edo State government's commitment to merit, inclusion, and equal opportunity. In Edo State, Favor Osazuo.
The Edo State Governor, Senator Mondo Pablo, has suspended from office the Commissioner for Livestock Development, Professor Omorodion Ignatius, and the State Project Coordinator, Livestock Productivity and Resilience Support, LPRESS Project, Mrs. Ikpiyongbo Betsy Akaku. According to a release signed by the Secretary to the State Government, Umar Musa, the dual suspension is due to an official infraction. The press release further directed the DOE to hand over all official documents, records, and other government property in their possession relating to the El Press project to the Permanent Secretary, Minister of Livestock Development with immediate effect. The permanent secretaries have therefore been directed to report to the Office of the Secretary to the State Government for a comprehensive debriefing on the El Press project.
A 29-year-old man has voluntarily renounced his membership of a cult group and surrendered a Beretta pistol to security authorities in Edo State in what officials have described as a significant breakthrough in the state's fight against cultism. The development followed a security operation coordinated by the Edo State Security Corps and the police after reports of suspicious activities in Esan West local government area. According to the zonal commander of the Edo State Security Corps, Joel Idamembo, the incident began after the acting chairman of Esan West local government area, Blessing Ibodage, alerted security agencies of a suspicious around the school near his residence. Several youths were arrested and screened by the police, while those found not to be involved in criminal activities were later released. Following a meeting with the youths, where the chairman of Esan West local government area of Edo State, Honorable Blessing Ibodage, them to shun cultism and other crimes, and one of them voluntarily stepped forward to renounce his cult membership and surrendered his pistol.
The Delta State Police Command has foiled a suspected cult initiation ceremony and recovered firearms, ammunition, and 7 vehicles and other exhibits during an intelligence-led operation in Oregon Community, Ughelli North local government area, acting on credible intelligence in the early hours of Sunday, July 19, 2026. The members of the Black Axe Confraternity were conducting an initiation ceremony in a forest within Oregon. Operatives of the command's SWAT squad stormed to the location. The suspected cultists reportedly opened fire on sighting the police, but were repelled by the operatives' superior tactical response, forcing them to flee into the adjoining forest along the Abi-Abraka axis. A search of the area led to the recovery of 1 pump-action gun, 1 cut-to-size double-barrel gun, 7 live cartridges, 2 expanded cartridges, 7 vehicles, 6 mobile phones, suspected cult regalia, and other personal effects abandoned by the fleeing suspect. The recovered exhibits are in the police custody, while efforts to apprehend the fleeing suspect are ongoing.
That's it, the Niger Delta update. So take a breather, and next to the focus of the day. Just stay.
Every second, a story breaks.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu has formally presented the 2026 appropriation bill to the National Assembly.
The nation reacts. The world shifts. History moves in real time. Before the noise, before the opinions. One screen keeps you connected. From the headlines shaking the nation to the stories everyone talks about tomorrow. Stream anytime, anywhere. When the story matters, you know where to turn. ADBN.
The global business is never static. Watch the market report on ADBN TV for business information, latest happening, business deals, government economic policies, stock, crude oil and commodity trading, financial upstick and downstick, and the world of organized private sector. The market report showing on ADBN TV 1 to 2 p.m. Monday to Friday. The market report bringing you up to speed in the business world.
Every day, decisions are made, policies are announced, challenges emerge, and lives are changed. But beyond the headlines, beyond the politics, beyond the noise, are the conversations that matter. On Softline, Nigeria's leading voices unpack the issues shaping our future, from governance to business, education, healthcare, technology, security, and the economy. Real conversations, expert insights, solutions that move the nation forward. Because understanding today's decisions shapes tomorrow's opportunities. Now airing 4 p.m. every weekday and Saturdays. Softline, where informed decisions begin.
An impact in humanitarian industry.
I am so delighted. I'm very happy to be a winner of Ease and Cruising.
Download the app and you may be the next week lucky winner.
We have been able to give you a different perspective to entertainment program. We don't only entertain you with good musicals. We celebrate Nigerians. Watch it, participate, and feel the cruising moment.
Contribute. He wants to contribute. I have taken care of that child since the day he dropped into this world. Did I contribute to birthing him?
Look here, let me tell you one thing you don't know. You represent everything I stand against. Everything.
Evelyn Patrick stands expelled.
If anyone gets to hear about this, if Nancy gets to hear about it, what will you do?
Am I the one responsible?
You're not responsible, Mark.
Well, he doesn't love me anymore.
You were right to suspect. And your girl is pregnant.
Mark, please. I don't have anyone. You're my best friend and my brother, and this attitude is killing me.
You should have thought of that, Rachel, before you went and shackled up with James.
Mark, that's not fair.
Tell me. Tell him about Josh.
If I don't tell him, he'll react.
Shut up!
Why are you treating me like this?
Shut up!
Whom would you want from me?
Shut up!
I'm not worthy to call on you. I'm not worthy to stand in your presence.
New episodes premiere every Sunday at 4 p.m. with a repeat on Saturdays at 6 p.m. exclusively on ADBN Television.
But you still wanna save me.
Nature has always been humanity's first provider. Long before cities rose and highways stretched across the land, forests supplied air, water, food, and shelter. Here in Stop Creek Forest, those essentials still breathe through the soil, the rivers and the towering trees. Located in Akwabam State in southern Nigeria, Stop Creek is more than a stretch of greenery. It is a living sanctuary.
Forest reserves were created in Nigeria by the colonial masters far, far back. So we're thinking about 1930 when that forest was set up, according to the history of that place.
These forests shelters rare and threatened wildlife, including the elusive Sclata quinan, also known as the Nigerian quinan, a primate found nowhere else on Earth but southern Nigeria. Above the canopy, the unmistakable call of the African grey parrot echoes, one of the continent's most intelligent and endangered bird species. The vegetation here forms a rich mosaic lowland rainforest, blending seamlessly into mangrove swamp forest. Thick roots of mangroves such as Rhizophora resmosa, Rhizophora arizona, and Rhizophora mango anchor the shoreline against erosion. African nut trees with ironwood, sugar plum, African whitewood, cherry palm, and countless medicinal herbs flourish beneath the humid canopy, each plant part of an intricate ecological web built over centuries.
That place is within what we call the Guinean Forest of West Africa hotspot. A hotspot in terms of biodiversity is a place loaded and recognized for the level of species endemism. Endemic species are species that you don't find anywhere else in the world except in that location. And the Stops Creek is one of such locations. Can you believe that this is a tail of a fish? See how long it is? And this was not a full-grown one. And if you touch this thing, it's like a spike wire. This fish is here. And this particular species cannot be found elsewhere in the world. That's why the English name is Ubam stingray. The scientific name is Dasyatis ubam.
This is the story of Stops Creek Forest, its ecological wealth, its cultural heritage, and the mounting pressures threatening its survival. A land blazed with abundance, yet shadowed by controversy. Call it self-sustaining and you will not be wrong. One of the largest remaining tracts of primary forest in the Niger Delta, Stops Creek, forms part of the Cross-Niger Transition Forest ecoregion, classified by the Worldwide Fund for Nature as critical and endangered. Research indicates that the reserve now is approximately 150 square kilometers, a dramatic reduction from its original 310.8 square kilometers. Human activity has steadily eaten into its once expansive green cover.
Thinking of how to enrich the Stops Creek by doing a lot of afforestation, enrichment planting, restoration of the mangrove, the devastated mangrove, and put it under strict protection so that under that type of protection, within 3 to 5 years, you will see a significant difference in the phenology of that environment, and that forest will serve the natural, value, which is the ecosystem services for the entire state and for the world. Because as I told you, the migrant birds, when they come from Europe and elsewhere in the world, even the ones come from North Africa, from Casablanca, they come and winter there.
What was once a thriving heaven for biodiversity is gradually, tree by tree, hectare by hectare. For generations, surrounding communities have depended on these forests for survival. Edible leaves, wild fruits, mushrooms, snails, fish from its creeks, palm wine tapped at dawn, honey harvested at dusk, fuel wood gathering, lumbering, afang collection, sand mining, basket weaving, broom making, fishing and medicinal plant harvesting. The forest has long been both marketplace and a medicine cabinet.
It's a communal fishing ground. But they go there not only for fishing, but also to harvest mat, palm, mat for roofing mat. You know, they could go there for weeks and stay there for weeks. Each village or so or family that had huts there where they would stay, because they could go there for 2 weeks or 3 and come back with these mats or so apart from fish, they get this material for mats. They get mboi, you know, to do the wall you have to put sticks.
But conservationists warn that unregulated exploitation could push the ecosystem beyond recovery, leading to irreversible biodiversity loss.
Those eel species are very unique. If you bring them out of the stop stream water and put them in a bathtub with the fresh water from your borehole, they will die within an hour. They can't survive. So if we destroy the stop stream and they don't have a place, they are gone. So I want to beg anybody who is interested in nature conservation, a balanced environment, the ecosystem services that you get from the stop stream, protection against ocean erosion, coastal erosion, ocean forces, wind.
There were lots of animals there, tigers, animals, all kinds, chimpanzees, they were there. But you know, those things, because of human activities, have virtually disappeared.
Environmental advocates argue that decades of intense activity have fragmented the forest into shrinking patches, weakening its natural resilience.
Any infrastructure development within the reserve would therefore be inconsistent with the reserve's legal purpose and conservation mandate. Our key concerns: 1, the highway will be rerouted, but environmental impact will be irreversible.
Some local voices, including Honorable Samuel Thomas, fears certain species may already be gone, casualties of progress. Development, they say, often comes at a cost.
What are we looking for? What are we fighting for? Can't we allow peace to reign? Let the government bring in investors and let the investors, do what they want to do. You can move the Stop Creek even to Ikorobas. What made the Stop Creek is the location. Okay, so you have a creek and you have the habitat. You have vultures, white-necked vultures. You have birds. You have crocodiles, you have other animals that were actually here. Because then it was a thick, very thick forest. It's all there now.
Yet, development here is not just environmental, it is deeply political. Ownership disputes over Stop Creek have persisted for decades. The Akwa Ibom state government maintains this claim, referencing the 1930 Gazette and the Land Use Act, warning against trespass.
Forest Reserve is an exclusive zone that is held by government. So it does not belong to anybody. It is the government that holds the reserve. And you are mentioning Stop Creek, it is only the matter is in court, so it will be sub judice to get into that conversation. But I can say that government is only interested in the development of the state. And that's why the government, through His Excellency, the Governor of Akwa Ibom State, is appealing to all leaders and everyone involved anywhere to understand that development supersedes everything else, because that's what we are here for.
They were fighting among themselves, and they get joined. And the judgment at every court was in favor of Eke. That this Stop Creek Forest Reserve, at that time it wasn't a forest reserve, but it was Okuya, belongs to Eke people. At every court, until he went to the Privy Council which was the highest court in the British Empire. Judgment was given in favor of Eket.
When from Ibn Eket people and this Eket, those were fishermen. They used to park their boat within Ibn beaches and Uyena beaches. They cannot pass from their land down to that place called the Stop Creek without passing through Ibn then and Uyena.
Surrounding communities, however, continue to assert ancestral ties to the land.
It's reserve forest. It has been there for long for the use of Mbo and Ibn. In time past, like 1970, this Oro has their own area separately in that anti-council. Now, formerly, we were in Eket. You know, Eket was the, let me say, the capital of Oro, Ibano, now all those Lugom areas, they were all together in Eket. They ate together, they did everything in common. But since 1970, the separation came in. Ibano has their own area, Mbo their own area, with Oro their own area. Now the local government came in, Ibano, Eket, Eket, and Mbo.
So, if it is on littoral, it cannot extend its boundary to Mbo. You understand? Ibano is just a little place on Kwaibo River. Not even up to the mouth of Kwaibo River. Because Eket land starts from the middle of Kwaibo River, the mouth of Kwaibo River, to Okposotu. Even the paramount ruler of Ibano, His Imperial Majesty Ajama, he says he comes from Okposotu, which is in Eket.
From land leases to employment slots and revenue sharing, ownership determines opportunity, and opportunity in turn determines loyalty. Despite tensions, the state government insists development must proceed.
The Calabar-Lagos Coastal Highway is passing through the Stop Creek, and I have seen a caveat emptor that is published that nobody should get there. People should pay compensation to certain people. Let me say here, I will meet it with the force of nature. We will bulldoze that place. We will build the coastal highway because it's beneficial to even the Eket people.
In 2021, Boa International Limited announced plans to develop an oil refinery within the reserve. Its chairman, Abdurrahman Rabiu, described the crude reserve as among the finest in the world.
Well, the choice of Akwa Ibom is easy because, you know, we decided Akwa Ibom because of the feedstock. Because if you have your project, you know, next to your feedstock, it is much easier, meaning that you do not have to transport, you know, your raw material or your feedstock to the project. So we decided Akwa Ibom because, you know, it is much easier for us. The feedstock is there, and then also it is a location where we'll have a big jetty, meaning that you can bring in products and you can also export products, you know, from that location.
Then came the Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway project, a major infrastructure corridor expected to pass through the region.
Well, that brings us to the end of Niger Delta today. We had hoped we'd have a conversation on Niger Delta and the federal projects, but sometimes live television has a way of rewriting the script. We'll bring you that conversation again on Thursday. But for now, we hope that the story of the Stops Creek has been able to give you another perspective of the Niger Delta, its beauties and histories. My name is Xavier Robert, wishing you a terrific Tuesday. Do join us again tomorrow. Jennifer?
And I am Jennifer Peong. Do have a great day.
ADBN, a part of you.